What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video. This one is a tricky one to kind of get my point across. I feel like people are going to think I'm talking about one thing when I'm really talking about another. So in this one, I want to talk about the possibility or whether or not we should trade Deforest Buckner. And I want to go into the reasons of why that would make sense and why that wouldn't make sense. And you got to start with Deforest Buckner's age. Right, we're talking about a defensive tackle that's over 30 years old, a guy that's although plays through injuries, and you got to give him that credit. Like, he is a tough dude, one of the toughest dudes in the league, always seemingly always playing through an injury, but has the injuries. And at some point with his age, that's going to catch up with him playing through all these injuries. Eventually, his body's not going to want to play through these things anymore. So, how long does he really have? How long do you want to try to commit to him after this season? And what's the real benefit of getting rid of a guy that's been so good, right? DeForest Buckner, we were able to get DeForest Buckner for one first-round pick, which was the number 13 overall pick in the draft. And DeForest Buckner has been outstanding. But as we go into the 2024 season, DeForest Buckner is also the second highest paid player on the Colts. Okay, and in terms of base salary, he has the highest base salary on the entire team. But the thing about DeForest Buckner and his contract this year, the thing that will make it attractive for other people to go get, and the Colts could still get good draft capital, right? You look at how good DeForest Buckner still is. They could get, maybe they just get one first rounder, but maybe they're able to get a first rounder back for DeForest Buckner from a team that's trying to win now. And in that instance, DeForest Buckner has no guaranteed money. That's the great thing about his contract this year is nothing is guaranteed, right? He's going to have to play. He's going to have to win. He's going to have to get certain incentives to get the full $20.25 million. But when you look at it, like his base salary is the $20.25 million. But when you look at his cap number, his total cap number is $22.75 million. And again, that's second on the entire team behind Quentin Nelson. Quentin Nelson's cap number is 25.2. And another reason that I think this could be something that might be able to happen is because the Colts are such a young football team. They're going in, a new direction. They have a new head coach. They have the young quarterback. They have a lot of young players on team. Going into the 2023 season, the Colts were the third youngest team in the league. And obviously last year they draft Tommy Ade, and he's a guy who's kind of a physical specimen. Like, he really is. He's a freak of nature physically. So if he can just hone his craft and he can work on certain things, right? We've talked about it with Bernard Raymond and what he did. This is the same thing, right? It works the same for any other position. As long as they know what they need to work on and they work to get better in the offseason, then I have faith that it can get better. So maybe Tommy Ade, I think he can be really good in the NFL. It's tough to compare anybody to an Aaron Donald, but I think he can be, mold himself into that body type. I think he can be a guy who can garner those skill sets. So if they want to move in a direction where they're just going to get younger, right? We've already talked about Grover Stewart and not re-signing him. So in that instance, you go ahead, you trade away DeForest Buckner, try to get some draft capital. You're also getting, again, $20 million more dollars to spend in free agency. Go out, get that pass rusher, go out, get a corner, go out, get a wide receiver. Like, so many options if this is something that happened, but also the case for keeping DeForest Buckner is because he's a great player and we're trying to win right now. We don't want to go into something that we don't know what it's going to be, right? Again, young players have to develop, and they're not going to be DeForest Buckner right away. So when you get rid of DeForest Buckner, you're giving up some pass rush, you're giving up some tackling from the middle, you're giving up a freak of nature. You know what I mean? DeForest Buckner is such a good football player. You look at his stats through the year, like rookie year, 6 sacks, then had 3, then had 12 sacks from the interior in 2018 with the Niners, then had 7.5 sacks. Then he goes to the Colts in 2020, 9.5 sacks, 7, 8, and 8. He has been fantastic for the Colts, and that's just pass rushing from the middle. That's not even saying how many tackles he has. The guy from the middle of the defense. Like you would go look at Grover Stewart and his amount of tackles. Like, I mean, Grover Stewart's really good, so his tackles are up. Go look at most defensive tackles in the league are not getting the kinds of tackles and the amount of tackles that DeForest Buckner is. So he's able to change a game in so many different ways. And that is so valuable. That's what's so valuable about him. He's a mismatch for everybody because he's such a big person and he's so strong, he's so physical, right? And he has the intelligence to be able to pull off different moves at different times and set guys up for this and that. DeForest Buckner is actually different. He is legitimately one of the best players at his position and has been since coming into the league in 2016. The argument is there to keep him. I'm not sitting here saying, yes, let's go trade DeForest Buckner. This is a discussion, right? A guy that has 1 year left on his deal. He's going over 30 years old. So is this a guy that, as Colts Nation, do we think that DeForest Buckner should be traded? Okay, honestly, I would say that I would lean toward trading DeForest Buckner. I think there's a lot of benefit there when I'm looking towards the future of Anthony Richardson's career and what we could build and also what we could get in return right now to make our team better and to start. Yeah, we might get younger, but we're also going to have talent that's going to continue to develop under these new coaches, under Shane Steichen and the accountability and all these coaches under Shane Steichen, right? The culture that's been set in stone. Get these guys young, raise them in that culture, raise them in these systems. And maybe with as great as Anthony Richardson could be, maybe we could make magic happen right away. But you also have to think, again, long term. At least that's how I think. Yes, we want to win Super Bowls every year, but long term, I think there are certain moves that can be made to make it to where maybe we win more Super Bowls through Anthony Richardson's career rather than just in his rookie contract, right? And this is going to be a big offseason for Chris Ballard to see what he does and see what kind of moves he makes. But this is a guy that, again, traded a first rounder for DeForest Buckner. He could end up trading DeForest Buckner and trying to get some draft capital back, trying to free up some money. It's something that is not out of the realm of possibility, in my opinion. Of course, I would love to know what you guys are thinking. Again, this is going to be, I feel like an ongoing discussion. Guy, again, on the last year of his deal, superstar. We'll see what happens with this. I haven't heard anything, just to put this out there. I haven't heard anything about this being a possibility. As I'm looking into things, it's something that I thought could be a possibility and something to watch for before the draft. So again, let me know what you're thinking of this down in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you get notified when any more of these videos come out. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.